What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Wolf's Den. This is my weekly podcast where we go over everything film and gaming. So kick back, relax, grab your coffee, your alcohol, your ganja, whatever relaxes you, chills you out. I got a pretty good show for you guys. I got my little mixer too. We're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be awesome. I got a lot of news to talk about. We're gonna go over all the films that are coming out. It's gonna be awesome. But let's start off with what video games are coming out this week. So we have Minecraft Legends coming out April 18th. That's going to Game Pass and all the platforms. It's only 2 days until release, so I'm gonna check that out, let you guys know if it's just what it is. Really, I haven't really seen too much gameplay on it, but it looks interesting. I like the last iteration. I can't remember what it was called, though. Minecraft Dungeons, I think. I might have fucked that up, but I think it was Minecraft Dungeons. That was actually pretty solid. The next one is Final Fantasy Pixel Collection. That's coming out April 19th, so that's 3 days from now. That's only coming to PS4 and Nintendo Switch. I'm sure the PS4 version can be playable on the PS5, so there's no worry there. And then this Friday, Dead Island 2 hits on all platforms, so that's going to be awesome. I can't wait to play that. I already finished my pre-order, got that all handled, because that's really the only game coming out the rest of the month that I'm really interested in. So that's a plus, coming out this Friday, so check those out. As for movies, Air and Mario are still doing pretty good. Air got up to $38 million, so that's awesome. I still haven't seen it. Probably just gonna wait till it hits Prime, to be honest. But you know, I'm glad it's doing decent. I think the budget really wasn't that high. Let me see. Let's see what the budget was. Well, yeah, it was around 70 to 90 million. So that isn't. I thought it would be much lower than that. I don't know. Maybe. Excuse me. I thought it'd be lower than that. Hopefully it can get a little closer. Damn. I imagine they were banking on Amazon Prime. I imagine, you know, through all those subscriptions, because I'm gonna see it as soon as it hits Amazon. So I imagine everybody else will too. Mario Bros is at 470 million, and that's just today, by the way, because I record these on Saturdays, Friday or Saturdays. So this is gonna hit real close to 500 before the weekend's over. That's insane. $500 million on Mario, man. That is insane. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you like the movie like me. That movie, that's insane. It was a $100 million budget, so around 150, I guess. 150 total. They're already making money. It doesn't even. But how much money can they make? Can Mario take this bitch over? And there's a lot of discussion on that too, about how, you know, Universal and DreamWorks are just taking over the animation, the family animation, and it's true. I mean, you can't deny. You had the Rise of Gru, all the Minions and Despicable Me shit. You had then the Rise of Gru, then you had Puss in Boots. And now we have Mario, and it's kind of just spelling Disney's deathbed. So I don't know. Renfield is kind of, which again, I don't know. We're gonna talk more about this on Box Office Now Monday, but Renfield looks to be at 3 million for their box office, which seems a little low, which sucks because I really do like Nicolas Cage, and I don't know. It looked like, you know, if it was really gory and everything, I think it'd be a good time for me. But I don't know. We were busy. We were busy this weekend. The Pope's Exorcist is doing a lot better at 16 million so far. So hopefully they pull through. The Mafia Mama has nothing posted. You know, it's only been a day since they came out, so nothing crazy there. But there's also this other one called Nefarious. Nefarious is at 500,000, and this looks like just a cheap cop out to get you know, kind of like ride the Pope's Exorcist train, you know, with the demonology cliche. I don't know. I like the dude. He's from Boondock Saints, I think. I might have had that wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's a guy from Boondock Saints. He played in a couple of things, but this looks low budget. The other guy in the movie, I don't even know who he is. You know, some people in the comments of the trailer knew, but I don't know what the fuck this that casting is, but yeah, that's about, that ain't doing too well. Later this week, so around Thursday, Friday. We got Evil Dead Rise, which looks phenomenal. I cannot wait to see this movie. That might have been what I was holding out on, because the Pope's Exorcist looks good, but Evil Dead, that's gonna be the shit. And then, you know, I'm kind of like crossed mentally, because I want to see Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. That looks fucking dope too. That looks amazing for just a action movie. You know, just looks like a basic action movie with, you know, a little bit of emotional plot points in the background. So I'm really interested in that too. There's a couple other movies. You have Beau is Afraid with fucking Joaquin Phoenix. It looks trippy. It looks like I don't know if I'd like to watch it in the theater, because it looks like it's crazy. It looks like a nuts ass movie, you know. But I don't know. It looks entertaining, I guess. You know. It looks really out there. I think it's about a mental patient that gets kidnapped, or maybe he thinks he's getting kidnapped. I don't know. But it's like a comedy horror, so we'll see. And then this other one, Somewhere in Queens. I didn't even know about this movie. It's a Ray Romano film, and I told you guys I'm Italian, so obviously I gotta check this out. And I do like Ray Romano. I used to watch Everybody Loves Raymond like everyone else. And this is his type. He's developed this movie. It's like in-house, you know, written by Ray Romano. So that kind of like popped my interest, but I don't know. It doesn't look too interesting. We'll see. And then this Friday, hitting Apple TV, is Ghosted, which I'm not really interested in whatsoever, even though I like both actors. I like Chris Evans and that the other bitch that I can't pronounce her goddamn name, but she's sexy. I don't know, it looks like they just gender flopped Night and Day. If you ever seen that movie, Night and Day, I'll have it playing right now so everyone can get a fucking, you know, get your memory back. But Night and Day was such a good movie with Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz, and they literally just flipped the genders, you know, and it just doesn't look like as well of a put together movie as even Night and Day. So I'll watch it, maybe I'll fucking check it out, but I don't know if I'm gonna like it. But yeah, that's everything that's coming out, movie wise, gaming wise. So yeah, we have a decent week of content for a little bit for everybody, you know, so that's nice. That's cool. But I did want to start with film, because there's not as much content, I guess, to speak on. I really got to turn this fucking phone off, because I heard in the last podcast you can hear all my shit. Yeah, I gotta remember to do that. That's annoying as fuck. But yeah, let's start with film. We're gonna start with Marvel. Couple Marvel topics we'll go over. So after 5 days, Mario has topped Ant-Man for the biggest box office for 2023. We just kind of talked about this, but just to lay it on the line, this is happening. Mario has topped Ant-Man. That's insane. It just I mean, bravo, you know, bravo, fucking A. But because, you know, it's just bad news for Marvel. Every one of these little topics we're gonna go over is just ass on Marvel's part. But the next one is Jonathan Majors. He might be getting recasted after his charges, which, you know, we'll know more for information's sake when the teaser for Loki season 2 comes out. If he's in it, you know, if we can get a shot of him in it, we'll know. Do you think Marvel would know better though, after seeing Warner Bros go through so much fuckery with the Rick and Morty creator, that it resulted in the recasting of one of their biggest animations, you know, essentially killing it in the process? So you would think they would know to just, because once you do something like this, you kind of like write yourself in a corner, and it's just like, you can't blame them, because if they take them back really easy, then it will make them look like they're misogynistic, and no one wants that on the Disney side of things, I imagine. So what do you get? Like, we're just gonna wait it out until the trial, or what's gonna happen? You know, like, they should know, like, and they should have learned with Johnny Depp too. You know, like, you can't just jump to conclusions. But it's like, if they don't jump to conclusions, then they're being misogynistic, which is just crazy to think about. Like, let's lay all the facts on the table and then make, you know, guide your conclusion. Don't just fucking assume. We have no knowledge, and I'm pretty sure it's all coming out to be on his side of the fence. So I don't know what the fuck. I hope they don't do that, because I mean he's a good Kang to me. I think he looks like Kang. He has that dramaticness to him. He has the acting chops. Just don't fuck this up. This is like your Thanos. Like if Josh Brolin got Me Too'd in the middle of all that shit, and we never got to see Thanos, that would suck. That would. Can you imagine? That's my whole existence in a sense, because I love those movies. Those like Endgame and Infinity War are some of the coolest movies in my lifetime. It's like the Star Wars of my generation in a way, which it sucks to see what Marvel is now, but in 2017 that was Star Wars to me. I was like, holy shit. And that would suck if we didn't have Thanos looking like that, but we'll see. We'll just have to wait until the teaser. The next one is the Marvels trailer. I already put out a reaction video. You guys can check that out. It's not, I don't really have too many words to say on it. It just looks a mess, and honestly, I'm not too interested in these characters, other than Monica Rambeau. But really, I don't have too much faith in that. And but she is like the shining gold of the cast. The other two, Brie Larson and whoever is playing Kamala Khan, is just not for me. I don't vibe well with how they go about just their style. I don't fuck with it, I really don't. But some stated it's Marvel's version of Charlie's Angels. Critics are guessing a $600 million box office. Kind of a stretch considering Ant-Man couldn't pull 500, And honestly, if Marvel actually made a Charlie's Angels style film with the female superheroes that we have, I'd be down. I'd be 100% down for that movie. And it has to be done like Charlie's Angels, kind of like parodying and, kind of making fun of the female body, however you want to fucking put it. I don't know how to describe Charlie's Angels in a modern setting, because it's like it's old school. Like if you ever watched those early 2000s movies, it's like it's old school mixed with new school. I don't know. They could do something cool with that, but maybe that's just the inner man in me. I guess it would still be corny, I assume, but but I mean, the fact they're calling this a Charlie's Angels movie, like Marvel's version of Charlie's Angels, are you joking? Like, yeah, you got Brie Larson, looks pretty sexy, Monica Rambeau, maybe you can pass her off, maybe, but then you have this little kid. Like, what the fuck? That kills the whole dynamic of a trio, and it's not gonna be sexy. It's not gonna be edgy or anything like. And man, it's not gonna be good. I do not see it. I don't see the excitement. And there's some people that are really excited and want to, but it's like, are you tone deaf? Like, you can see right through this movie. It doesn't look like there's a lot of depth for these characters. Like, oh, I can't wait to see Monica Rambeau and Kamala Khan's, arc and their chemistry. And I'm like, it's what? You're making this to be a bigger movie than it really is, man. Like, it's a little cringy. Even just the reactions from people. Another cringy topic is Star Wars. I guess we're gonna talk about a bunch of Star Wars. I must have got pissed off after I seen the Mandalorian episode, because I just went down a rabbit hole of all this shit about Star Wars and Lucasfilm, and I guess I have to talk about it because I wrote all this shit. But the Mandalorians should rename it, I guess. It was a cringy episode. I watched both of them, the latest ones. I didn't write anything for the newest one. I fell asleep. Like, I was almost through it, and at some point I fell asleep. And right before, I guess, some big monster came out. It didn't hold me, man. And the episode with Jack Black and Lizzo was just insulting. The episode wasn't entirely terrible. It had some aspects, but overall this season, it just feels useless. The Mandalorian was supposed to save the Star Wars franchise, and now it seems like a dull PBS quality show. At times it reminds me of a cheesy 80s sci-fi not sitcom, but yeah, it could be, maybe a sitcom. not to mention, they have pushed the Mandalorian out of his own show, and the cringe effects, they're on par with like the Power Rangers. I mean, it looks really bad sometimes. Like even that bit that was really popularized, the lightsaber. I guess I forget who he was. I think he was in the prequels, maybe. I can't fucking remember. But he did this little bit where he had his lightsaber. It just looked so bad. Like, I can't even remember what the fuck he was. But I guess maybe he was in the animated shows or some shit, but it just did not look like none of the scenes. Like, it's just, I don't understand what's going on. It looks like a PBS show. Like, these effects suck. And then not to mention the animatronic heads and all that shit. They look like you got stripped right out of the 80s, and they don't even look as good as 80s Star Wars in some ways. Like the dude's mouth don't even match up with his words that he's saying. It looks really weird to me. I don't know. It's bringing me back to my childhood, and I don't appreciate that. With all the cringy shit that was in the 80s and 90s, you know? And it's just so forced having Bo-Katan just correct Din Djarin, and even though he's the one getting shit done, and it's just really forced, you know? And it just doesn't flow right with me. Not to mention all the other shit that's going on with Star Wars. Disney is apparently bringing back Rey as a Master Jedi, along with 3 new projects. I can't wait to see how this turns out. Not even Jon Favreau. I can never pronounce his name. I think it's Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau. He can't even save Star Wars, and I thought he really was gonna be like the guy, kind of like at the helm, changing Star Wars back to what it should be. Because that first season of The Mandalorian was fantastic, but yeah, retcons and all that are not happening like fans wanted. You know, a lot of people thought Rey was gone, and I did too because of the backlash and the box office. But they're doubling down. They said, "Fuck it, we're gonna bring back Rey as a Master Jedi," I guess. And apparently it's gonna be like 15 years in the future or some shit. But that's even more of a far stretch. I don't know. Just all rubs me wrong. And then there's another female-centered Star Wars series, The Acolyte, which they're claiming is like a Frozen meets Kill Bill, which that just sounds terrible. They're so out of touch, you know, they don't even know what Star Wars is at this point. You know, they state that there is no good or evil, and like this woke corporate bullshit, cringy ass interviews. It's like they're talking as if this show is the best kept secret. You know, no one cares. The banter that they had in that interview at, I think it was Star Wars Celebration or some shit. I'm like, this is so cringy. Like, you think people give a fuck about your Acolyte show? Or it's just, I just don't like the corporate BS, you know? Like Kathleen Kennedy, I think her name is. She just reminds me of like my vice principal back in high school, you know? Just a bitch, you know? Just a cunt. She has that persona of talking like a fucking nurse, you know, or like a doctor that's trying to tell you that you're wrong about your medication, you know, that type of shit. You know, that's what I get from her. I don't like Kathleen Kennedy. That whole fucking interview sucked. I was like, what the fuck is going on? This is the lady in charge. This is, no wonder you have a fucking bunch of box office failures. And then they also, Lucasfilm also got roasted for apparently woke messaging in Indiana Jones. This is the least problematic. I saw a lot of people online talking shit about this, but it really isn't that crazy. Like, there's crazy woke culture, and then there's like subliminal woke culture that you really have to like look into to really get pissed off, I guess, because I mean, it's over this joke. It's about capitalism, you know. I mean, are you joking right now, Disney? Disney needs yet another $900 million box office. You know, that joke wasn't crazy, but I still don't think it helps you with your over-budgeted Indiana Jones, you know? The last outing of Indiana Jones is likely to be a flop. What a fucking shame, you know? And the joke is, it's just some stupid little capitalism joke that is It's just fried. But apparently they got a record-breaking budget, which just sounds terrible. Whoever came up with that idea was fried. They're like, we have an Indiana Jones movie on the works. Okay, we're gonna make the biggest budget for it, and that will sell. It's like, that's not always the fucking case. Just because you pour money into something doesn't mean that's what people want. If it's ass, you know, then you just wasted all that money. I don't know what the fuck. I'm not seeing it. I really don't. I mean, who really wanted Indiana Jones this late in Harrison Ford's life? I don't want a old ass Indy. That's not. I don't know. That might just be me. I don't know, but I'm not too interested. Another big news title that came through is HBO's Max is now rebranded as Max, combining Discovery and HBO. It looks funny. I know some people were making fun of it, saying this is the lamest rebranding for a streaming service. You know, welcome to Max. And I mean, I agree. It seems a little plain. They could have put on, like, they should have did HBOD or I don't know, WBD. I don't know what the fuck they could have did, something other than just Max or Max streaming, or I don't know. They really all should just, you know, stop their fucking dick measuring contest and just consolidate to one name. You know, whether it's Warner Bros or Discovery, one of those, like, they should have a marketing guy that's like, all right, who knows these brands more, okay? Discovery or Warner Bros? Discovery or Warner Bros? And then make a decision. Like, well, most people know what Warner Bros is, but, you know, it's about 40% less for Discovery. They just think that's a cooking channel. You know? Because I think it's kind of stupid to even call it... I mean... Warner Bros. Discovery, okay, but fucking Max is lame. That is pretty lame. But that's coming May 23rd with a price jump for a premium service. Which it's just gonna be combining it with Discovery Plus, but there's also ad options, so you can just get away with watching some ads for a cheaper price. I can't watch ads after leaving cable. I can't do it. I'm sorry. Can't do it. I mean, there's a couple, like I think Peacock I still have ads on, maybe, or there's a couple streaming services that I don't care for that much that I'll just go through that pain of watching those shitty ads. Sometimes they're not that bad on a couple services I've seen, like 15 seconds, 20 seconds, but once you're like Hulu, maybe Hulu might be like the one that's like 80 seconds or 120 second break, which sounds amazing if you think about it, because if you go back to the cable days, go back to cable, oh my god, that was like, what, like 5-10 minutes of commercials, maybe even more, like 15 minutes. They've definitely sneaked it back in very cleverly, because it seems like commercials were just gone from my life for the longest, and then they're like streaming services, you know. But yeah, so May 23rd, check your shit. I don't know if you gotta resubscribe. I wonder. I don't think so. I think you're maybe at the default. You gotta upgrade or something. And then Blue Beetle, the director. Since we're talking about Warner Bros., Blue Beetle's director's Twitter account is now protected, hiding all of his political posts. Very curious. I wonder if Warner Bros. Stepped in or James Gunn did. You know, or if he just realized that he's gonna get shit canned if he keeps doing dumb shit. I don't know, but yeah, this is stupid. Like, obviously they're backpedaling for no reason, right? It's just stupid to me. I think bringing politics into film is dumb. Like, yeah, sometimes you can talk about, like, that's the weird thing about The Mandalorian, I feel like, because I feel like they're trying to put out a message that can be established from both sides, which is smart in theory, but then you gotta figure like the common audience, they're gonna assume you're talking about the side they don't like in certain aspects, because I can totally see that happening. Like, they'll talk about the Empire is or they'll talk about like the perspective of the Empire, talking about everyone's sick of the New Republic and we can make this comeback, and that, like, it seems a little fishy sometimes that they're just trying to make plot, like, their plot points are today's political environment, which is totally fucking lazy. You go back to the original Star Wars, I mean, if anything, they showed evil being kind of like parodying the Nazis, which totally made sense because the Nazis, Darth Vader, they all kind of like, it all blends together really well. People understand that, and you're not reaching anywhere. They're not saying like Nixon was fucking like, they're not going around corporate scandals and shit. They're like, this is the big shit. This is the death level, you know, just planet destroying climatic events. This is not some stupid little political scheme and shit. You know, I don't know. I just think they've lost their way with Star Wars, and it's such an iconic brand. I don't even know how I got back on Star Wars. We were talking about fucking Blue Beetle. I'm just pissed. I love that Obi-Wan show just because of the Darth Vader fight. That was amazing. That was like one of the best lightsaber fights I've ever seen. And it was at the end of the fucking series, so I had to wait all the way to the end. I'm like, oh, that shit looks dope. The fucking colors and the darkness, you know, so it like made the lightsabers like bright, but it was like consolidated darkness. I don't know how to describe it. It just looked fucking dope, man. That was so cool. And then, but the rest of the show was ass. It looked like they did terrible with the cat. It was just fucking disappointment, man. If they would have just kept it to Obi-Wan and Darth Vader going at it every couple episodes, I would have been fucking happy. But no, you can't fulfill my dreams. And the last thing, well, one of the last things. This other one really isn't shit. Just that the critics love Renfield, and it's like at a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. And then The Pope's Exorcist is at 55. Coincidentally, The Pope's Exorcist is doing better at the box office, so I wonder why. Russell Crowe. It's Russell Crowe. He's awesome. And the movie just looked, like I told you guys, the movie looks more like it would be suited for the movie theater versus Renfield. You know, that's just me. But obviously, people agree because of the box office. And the last thing is 80 for Brady. I wanted to talk about that. It hit streaming on Paramount Plus, and it was a good movie. I was surprised, actually. I thought it was going to be kind of basic, you know, kind of just one of those basic comedies. But it was pretty wholesome. I'll give it that. You know, it's like kind of like taking a page out of the book from the early 2000s comedies. You know, kind of like there's a whole, I don't know, it was really well put together, and they showed a lot of things that were interesting. I actually was texting my girlfriend about it because she didn't get to watch it, sadly. But let me see if I can find what I was talking about. But no, the movie was just like amazing when it comes to like showing the different sides of the NFL. I've never seen how much it costs to go to the NFL, and $245,000 for a skybox. Jesus fucking Christ, $245,000. Like, that was the more fun part, was just seeing like the other side of the NFL. Like, yeah, you have these Golden Girls, basically the Golden Girls of our generation, but you know, they're going through crazy shit, getting high at parties and all that, which is fun, whatever. But then you get to see how much it is to be there. You know, like $10,000 for not even half a day's worth of time. You know, you're probably there for like 8 hours, 9 hours. That's crazy, you know, just to see the luxury of the NFL. But I wish Betty White could have made an appearance. You know, this seems really fitting for her. That just sucks, because this is like a movie made for her. Like, can you imagine Betty White doing the hot wing scene? That would have been amazing. You know, it's too bad. But yeah, I think it's honestly my best description of this movie. It's like the old, like, if you ever watched it, it's called Detroit Rock City. It's about these kids trying to go to a concert in a Kiss concert in the 70s. And they go through a bunch of shit, lose their tickets or whatever, and they have to get them back and all this shit before the concert starts. And it's like that film meets Golden Girls. That's literally the film. And I thought that was really cool. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's good time. I was genuinely surprised how much I liked it, and just by seeing what the NFL is really priced, that just blew my mind. I'm like, oh my god. I mean, I guess I'm not surprised, but at the same time, I'm like, damn, are you? Fuck. This is a luxury. It's a luxury. Let me change this song. You guys can't hear what I'm listening to, but this is an annoying song just came on. Oh, here we go. But onto the gaming side of the show. Start off with the game I've been playing, which you have also been seeing this whole time, Judgment. It's grown on me, but at the same time, it's not that entertaining, like in the grand scheme. Like, I really do like the action. I didn't at first. I think I had to do some upgrades to get things flowing right, but the action is so satisfying. When you're kicking people's ass, it feels like a Bruce Lee game. You know, it's really fun. But some of the detective parts are annoying. They're not very explained well. Very rarely, actually. Most of it's actually basic, just common sense shit. But sometimes it's like, it's annoying. Like the drone. I hate the fucking drone. And then there's one where there's just, it's corny and it's cringy in its own way, you know, because there's this one bit where this is like a 30-40 minute sequence if you don't skip through the dialogue, you know. There's a sequence where you have to find a cake culprit, like someone in the office that ate this girl's cake. Funny. And she's all upset and shit, and you have to prove why the guy's innocent, and it comes to being like this whole thing. It's like L.A. Noire, but super simplified and kind of like a parody of itself, because you're like going around the office looking in the trash cans, trying to get clues as to what happened, and then it comes to be that the lady left in a hurry. She left her cake in the fridge. The power went out. The cake got spoiled, so the cleanup guy just threw it out, and it was just like this whole big thing. And there's a lot of little things like that throughout the game that are somewhat entertaining, but also like, can we just get through this shit? You know, we were just on a murder case a second ago. But I mean, the action is keeping me there, I think, and some of the side quests are entertaining, at least. So, and I don't have nothing to play until this Friday, so I'm gonna crush it on this, and then I'm gonna give it a break. And maybe play Lost Judgment. I haven't made my mind up if I want to play through that yet, or if I want to give it a longer break, because this game is fucking tedious. You know, you'll go all the way to the top of the map, and you'll do some little fight, whatever the case may be, and then it's like, now rest up at the agency, and you gotta go all the way back to and it's like, oh, this fucking, why there needs to be a fast travel for this game. But at the same time, I do like running around, seeing my little character in his fucking leather jacket fluffing the wind. Like, that's something. And I think most of this gameplay that you're seeing, I'm fucking either drunk or I'm bonked out of my mind, because sometimes I'm just either get confused, lost, or looking at shit, running around. So I'm sorry if the gameplay is fucking stupid sometimes. But on to the headlines. Let's talk about some topics that, you know, I think I talked a little bit yesterday with Next Gaming, but we're going to dive in a little deeper. And there's a couple other things that I do want to talk about. First off, Redfall. Let's just go over Redfall. This had a lot of backlash for the recent gameplay from IGN. The lack of performance mode. To me, the game just looks dull. You know, very low quality, kind of like blocky. You know, kind of like it just like it doesn't go off of realism. Like Deathloop, you could tell Deathloop looked kind of realistic in ways. This just looks like, I don't know. It just doesn't look right to me. I was skeptical on it, and I don't know. We're gonna see if the AI looks weird. Like, we're very close to release, and if that's how the AI is gonna be, that's kind of embarrassing. Not gonna lie, I am not into. Like, it didn't even look like they were moving. It looked like they're like skipping, like jumping, and I don't know. It just doesn't look right. And then to hear it's 30 frames per second, I think the whole 30 frames per second, 60 frames argument is kind of silly, I guess. Now, you know, 60 frames, I imagine, I understand it looks better than 30. That makes perfect sense. When you go past 60 though, because I have my PC, I think goes up to 120 or 144, something like that, and that's cool, you know. But it does, like, if sometimes it doesn't make it better for me. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it doesn't matter to me if it's amazing frames. Like, you have your computer going to 180 frames per second. It just doesn't. Maybe I have to play more PC. I don't know. Maybe that's on me, but I don't really think it's a huge deal. And then when it comes to this game in particular, the fan base for this game, the people hyped up for this game, obviously if they like this game already, like if they're looking at the trailers and they're like, yeah, this is it, I want to play this, and they're not like me where I'm skeptical, it looks a little fucky to me, but if they like it, they're not going to give a fuck about 30 frames per second. That's just, it's stupid to think that, you know. And people saying, well, it's gonna suffer so much, it's gonna be ragged on and all this shit. It's like, dude, the game ain't that big, you know. Like, right now is the only time that it can be anything, you know. If you wait to release this pretty much any time throughout the rest of the year, I don't think it's gonna do that well, you know. And even May is kind of rough if you look at it, because it has Star Wars, the Jedi game, like a couple days before it's released. Then you have Zelda coming out in May, and then after that point, I mean, June, you have Street Fighter, Final Fantasy, Diablo. July, you have that new Aviom game, which we'll probably talk a little bit later about that. And that's just the games we know about. The rest of the year, we don't even know what the fuck is coming out. So it's like, if they delay it, it might do worse, you know? Whereas, depending on how long this patch for this 60 frames takes, because this could all just be a bunch of stupid shit we're all over talking about, you know. Because if it's a 2-week patch, that ain't that bad, you know. That ain't bad. Now if we're talking like 2 months, then yeah, that's a little outrageous. But and I understand it's probably not hard to implement. I think it's like DLS, or there's a bunch of programs to get it to 60, so it's definitely possible, and that's just confusing people in and itself, and I understand. But 30 frames extra is not going to save this game, you know. It's going to make shit look better, you know. Literally, kind of. But I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of the gameplay, because I think it looks real rough. So Resident Evil 4, I'm going to talk a little bit about this. They added microtransactions. Do I care? I don't know. I mean, if you want to buy into an easy win, that's on you, to be honest. I mean, yes, it looks shady because they waited after reviews, you know, so that's something. But this doesn't seem like a terrible headline. You know, just don't buy it. Vote with your wallet. You know, this isn't news to get crazy about. You know, I think it's much more crazy that, you know, I've heard the Xbox Series consoles have had issues with their version, frame rate and pop-in. So I'm wondering what's up with that. But like, why are they struggling over there with Xbox more than, hey, they added microtransactions in a single player game that if you want to, yeah. It's like, what? Who cares? Who really cares? I mean, I get it. It's kind of a cheap way to play the game, and it kind of kills it. But at the same time, you can just play the game without the microtransactions, you know? Like, it adds a lot into it, because think about it. Like, if you beat the game, whatever, you want to replay it, but you want to have just random fun, you could buy microtransactions, get the fucking RPG that I think has infinite ammo, and just go fucking around. And that's how you get content on YouTube that's just like crazy wacky shit that makes people like, oh, I should play that, versus like repetitively dying and just not having a good time sometimes, you know. If you have this wacky shit, it might get some more people into the game, and then, you know, maybe they'll get the microtransactions, maybe they won't. Who cares? Who gives a fuck? It's not your wallet, dude. Anybody that's pissed off about someone else's wallet, check yourself, you know. Like, this ain't like loot boxes, you know. This ain't ruining, like, loot boxes ruin a game's fundamentals. This is just ruining your game's perspective, you know, like you personally, you know. Like, if you want to ruin your game, you can go ahead for the price of $4. I don't get it. It's just stupid. Another major Halo dev left Xbox. I don't know if I talked about this or not already, but there's speculation that he's headed to Bungie. That would be really funny. Either way, this really just showcases the state of Halo Infinite and Xbox Studios. Will the game ever be fixed? We don't know. Will the game ever be fixed? We have no fucking idea. It looks like it might, but we are... fuck it. We'll just leave it in the corner. I'm disappointed. I just don't like the matchmaking. That was the worst part, is because it kept throwing me in the fucking DMR matches, and I suck with the snipers. I've said this before, and it's annoying. Like, I don't care. If you fucking play 4 or 5 matches, and they're all, or like one of them is a regular match that doesn't have fucking snipers, that's shit. I don't care what the fuck you say. I want diversity. You know? But I really wish the game would get its shit together. And what is up with devs just not getting us post-launch content? Like, Call of Duty's being ass with it. Halo can't even put in co-op. I think maybe they did put in co-op, but not couch co-op, maybe. I can't remember. It's been a minute since all that, but this is just crazy. This is crazy. It's crazy that Halo is just not what it used to be. Hopefully they get their shit together. Diablo 4 also has a battle pass. Will it ruin the game? I don't know. I think the game is already kind of like... I'm sketched out on it just because of Diablo 3's launch and the whole Diablo Immortal. I don't really know where they're going with the whole franchise, you know? But it looks better. It looks crisp. But I don't know. I'm just gonna wait. That's one game I'm gonna wait. I put $5 down on Street Fighter 6, so that's probably what I'm gonna play in June for Final Fantasy 16, which I'm kind of worried about that as well, especially with the whole British actors. I feel like that is something else with Final Fantasy 16. I don't like, not that I don't like you British guys and girls out there, but seems like I just now found out that, you know, I did not fit, like, all the marketing, I was assuming it wasn't British, you know. now you see the, oh yeah, Karake. It's like, oh fuck, what is this? I've never seen British Final Fantasy. But we'll see. The PC gaming show is coming in June, and Gamescom is set for early August with Jeff Keighley. So we got some showcases. Summer Games Fest is also in June, if you didn't know, if you've just been under a rock. So I mean, that's the cool part with E3 being gone. We still have all of this coming out, so we're still gonna get those cool gameplay trailers, and hopefully we get to see some awesome titles like Spider-Man 2 and all that. A lot of surprises. Hopefully that still stays in the gaming industry as time goes on. Hollow Body, I also talked about this on yesterday's show. Looks really interesting. Reminds me a lot of the PS2 era, you know, like Silent Hill 2. I think I'm interested, you know. I don't know if it's going to be great. Maybe I'll wait for reviews, but, you know, it looks real classic, you know, just real nostalgic. And, you know, I mean, I'll play it. Hopefully the gameplay ain't fucking janky, because I think a lot of the gameplay we've seen is, like kind of like walking around. Like, it does look like Silent Hill 2, so I don't know. Maybe I'll look at more of the gameplay, see what the action's like, but we'll see. The GeForce RTX 4070 also launched at $600. That I want to know if you guys think that's too much. Is $600 too much money for, you know, say like every couple years or every 3-4 years you buy a new graphics card for $600? Is that too much? I'm just curious, because I don't know. Like, when you go over $800-900, then it starts to feel like, to me, that's a bit of a reach. But $600, you know, because I've always thought, you know, as much as PC is kind of like a standard for gamers, like you just buy like the standard PC rig. There's also the premium PC users. So when it comes to being a premium, way of gaming, as so many elitists have been fucking riding my dick about for the last 10 years, is 600 too much? I wonder. I'm not sure. Not sure about that. I'm not sure. I might pick one up in a year or so. Once it gets down to like 400, 500, I feel like that's a steal. But I don't know. I'm not gonna wait till like 250, 300. That seems like a bit. But I don't know. Maybe if like in a general sense, like the whole enchilada, you look at all of the parts you gotta get. You want to spend 600, so your graphics card has got to be 253. Maybe in that mindset of thinking, I guess. But just curious. Wonder what you guys think. The PS Plus games for this week, or not this week, this month, we have some cool ones. We have Wolfenstein 2. I think that was Wolfenstein 2. Kena Bridge of Spirits, Doom Eternal, Sackboy: A Big Adventure. They have I think I was gonna say Trials Fusion, but I think it's Riders Republic or some shit like that. So that they have a lot going for them this month. And if you're on premium, you're also getting Doom 1 through 3 and Dishonored. So I saw some people saying that this is a weak month. I think that's a cool month. I mean, you get Wolfenstein, a fucking Kena Bridge of Spirits is cool. Doom Eternal's fucking awesome. Sackboy, like these are fun games, big titles. Yeah, you gotta buy extra. So, I mean, if I'm on Essential, I don't even have extra because everything on extra and premium seems like it's either uninteresting to me or I already have it. So there's really just no point in me getting extra. It's kind of just like a subscription service. You don't buy games physically, you just buy these subscriptions and see what comes out, which that's giving too much power to these fucking companies. Can you imagine if that's all you play is what you get from the extra and premium shit? You're like, oh, I get to play Wolfenstein 2 and Kena Bridge of Spirit, like these old ass games. That's stupid. Fuck that. But some people are into it. I'm just not. Marvel Spider-Man also left the service because of a licensing agreement that needs updated. Hopefully they get it updated closer to the sequel, because that's just awesome. Can you imagine picking up Spider-Man 2 for the first time ever in your life, playing a Spider-Man game or a PS5 game, just got your PS5, whatever the case may be, and then you finish it, and then you see that shit. You're like, oh shit, they got the original on fucking PS Plus, let's go. And then you have fun all over again playing another Spider-Man game. It's like you bought 2 Spider-Man games. So I don't know. I hope they get that fixed before the launch, but who knows? We're still a ways out. They could not. We don't know. Couple more topics, and that'll probably be it for the show. First, Immortals of Avium. They got a new trailer. It's said to be a Call of Duty with magic. Okay. Some have said it looks like Ghostwire Tokyo. I saw Overwatch just by like the hands and kind of like the gameplay. I was getting Overwatch vibes. I didn't even know it was a single player game at the time when I thought that up, though. It's a single player game. It just I don't know. It's a weird game. It's a narrative Call of Duty magic shooter. I didn't expect it. This came way out of left field. There's no in-game microtransactions or multiplayer, so whoop whoop. That's awesome. Maybe one day, I imagine they'll put a multiplayer in, because the gameplay looks dope. It's on Unreal Engine 5. That would be an awesome multiplayer setting. But it's a strange game. It's very basic, but it's also, it has the Telltale creators behind it. It has Dead Space creative director, the original from 2008, behind it as well, his studio. So it has a lot of good people behind it, backing it. Hopefully the story isn't shite and it's interesting, and then the gameplay is fun, of course. So we'll see how it goes. It just came out of nowhere. It's coming July 20th, and it centers around 3 different types of magic. So there's 3 colors. It's green being green is rapid fire. red is up close like a shotgun, and then blue is long range. So that's very basic to me. You know, could you imagine if you played a Call of Duty and all you had was like an MP5, like a SCAR, and then a Spaz, and that's your whole game. That's your game. Like, that's kind of how they got around this, is because it looks so cool that you don't think about it that way. But essentially, that's what it is. Is you have a couple guns, and that's about it. You know. And that I think he even said that he worked on Call of Duty at a point. Like, he was at Activision working on a Call of Duty, and he thought of the idea of, like, he was doing some type of scene in a Call of Duty campaign, and he just had the idea of, you know, what if these tanks were creatures and all this shit. Like, basically you just remake what the scene was. Just take out the Russian soldiers, put in like space warriors or whatever the fuck these enemies are, and then replace the guns with fucking magic light guns, I guess, coming out of your hands, you know. It looked interesting. I guess Activision turned him down and he went to EA. I didn't know this was an EA game until yesterday. I was doing the editing and I saw the beginning of the trailer. It's like an EA original. I'm like, EA, bro, you fucking, you hypocritical, ironic fuck. You will another single player game after you said no one plays this shit, and then they're like, everyone likes our single player shit. Everyone, not just everyone. Every time we do this, they like it. It's weird. Because yeah, it's what Star Wars, I think, was one of the first ones after they said that. Then they did they announced the sequel, then they announced Dead Space, and now they got this game. They're kind of rolling. You know, I think they might be pissed about being the worst company, the worst gaming companies for like what, 6-7 years in a row. It might even be bigger than that. Like, EA has been pretty shitty for a long time. But we'll see. I'm kind of excited. I do want to check it out. That's July though, so that's a perfect month because I don't think anything is coming out in July at this point. Let's see what's coming out in July. Yeah, nothing. I mean, if you're into Exoprimal, which I've heard is good, so that's gonna be a battle right there, bro. You have Pikmin 4, Immortals of Aveum, and then Exoprimal. So that's gonna be an interesting month. I think I'm gonna go with Immortals of Aveum, to be honest. Pikmin 4, I just don't. I have a difficult problem in paying $60-$70 for Nintendo Switch games because Pikmin 4 is. I'm not that interested in Pikmin. You know, I'm just not. To pay that much money for it just seems like a waste, especially in that month of better things. Like, I could pick up Exoprimal instead and have more fun than playing fucking Pikmin, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's looking like it's gonna be a good year. Maybe we'll go over the last 6 months, because I think we did that probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago, where we kind of looked at the rest of the year, how it was going, and we'll do that in a second. But also, Ubisoft Plus hit Xbox. It is now $17 a month. Comes with day one releases, like I forget the Crew. Or no, it wasn't the Crew, was it? Something like that. They have their own racing game, which they kind of put off in the trailer. But they also have, you know, all the Assassin's Creeds, the Ghost Recons, the Rainbow Six, all the shit. Everything Ubisoft is known for, you can probably get on the service. But that's my problem, is that I already own most of the shit. You know, I mean, unless they put something interesting on it, I don't think. But I didn't get EA Play either. You know, Game Pass is really it. Game Pass and PlayStation Plus is the only subscription services that I go with, and it's mostly because you need it to go online. You know, which I've heard Game Pass or Xbox might be going the way of, you know, going away from that, going strictly like it's free to play online on your games, but if you want, you can buy Game Pass and get all these. You know, that would crush the market. I feel like that would really put a dick into Sony's backside, especially if this Activision deal doesn't go through, which I'm kind of, I don't know. I think it's looking a little sketchy. I don't think it's gonna go through as easy as people think. You know, that's my opinion. And if that doesn't go through, I bet your damn ass Microsoft's like, yeah, well, online play is free, but you can buy Game Pass. You know, I could totally see that happening. That would be hilarious. But back to Ubisoft Plus, I don't think it's very smart to try to compete not only with Game Pass but also EA Play. I think that's kind of dumb. I think it would make much more sense to go to PS Plus, because a lot of my friends on PlayStation Plus, they're still on Essential. They haven't upgraded to Extra or anything. So really, instead of upgrading to Extra, they could get Ubisoft Plus. You know, I think it would make more sense to go to PlayStation than to go to a service that already has Game Pass Ultimate and EA Play and all this shit. I think that is a mistake. But I think eventually Ubisoft Plus is just going to go everywhere. So, and then Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League is now coming February 2nd, 2024. I put out that video, which was really funny. That video was awesome. If you haven't seen it, it's Goodbye Suicide Squad. It was fucking... That was actually an accident. I was actually just listening to Spotify, and that song came on while I was editing, and it just lined up perfect. I just clicked that shit in. But I found it funny. But yeah, I know they're not going to fix anything. I've heard it's just about polishing, and I think that's a mistake, and maybe that's just like a marketing thing. They're like, no, we don't need to change anything. The game ain't fucked. We're just polishing it up, and then it comes back and it plays completely different. You know, that'd be funny. But it doesn't look interesting. The gameplay looks very repetitive, and I don't want to worry about a fucking jetpack. Like, they should have kept it grounded. These characters are mostly grounded, other than maybe Deadshot. Make Deadshot where he can jetpack up and shit. But like Harley Quinn and the Shark and Captain Boomerang, they could just be on the ground, man. They don't need to... I don't know. They're doing weird shit over there, making this live service title. You know, I'm not interested. And I think they knew all these great games coming out. Like, anywhere they launched, it was gonna get some stiff competition. So I'm sure they just assumed. They're like, yeah, we should probably get the fuck out of here. We should get out. We need to get out. We're getting a lot of flack for this shit. And it's Rocksteady too. Some of these developers that are known for doing amazing things, man. Rocksteady, Arcane Studios, like, what are y'all? Is it a management problem? Is it upper management, man? Because whoever told Rocksteady that's what they should be working on is fucking fried. Fucking, like, do a Superman game. You know those would sell? Like, if you just... And then they put Superman in this, you know? So it's like they modeled out a Superman and didn't ever think, hey, we should probably put this in a real-ass game. Like, what? So annoying. That would print money, you know? It's like, do you not listen to fans? There are so many people out there that are parading for a Superman game. We haven't had one since, like, '08. And you just don't want to commit. I understand. You fuckers. Let's do this stupid-ass little Suicide Squad game that should do great. Nah. But anyway, I also want to talk about the Switch Pro. Apparently there's rumors circulating we're going to get an announcement or a reveal of the Switch Pro for a spring 2024 release. I guess it just depends on how well Tears of the Kingdom sells, because you don't want it to sell like buku dollars and then announce like there's a new system, you know? Because I don't know if that really depends on it though, you know? It would be really interesting to see when they announce this, because I think if they're going for spring 2024, which I feel like that's their area, it would probably be like September, October where they do an announcement. I just don't know about a Switch Pro. Like, it needs to be a big jump for me to even consider picking it up, because if this is like an in-between generation console, I'm not gonna buy it. Like, if there is a Switch 2 on the way, like a year or two out after that, I'll just wait for that, to be honest. Like how the OLED was slightly upgraded with the OLED screen. I don't give, like, fuck it. I'm not paying more money for this pretty much the same thing with a little bit better. Like, fuck it. I'm not interested. But yeah, that's about it for all the news. And and all that. You can check out the channel. I posted a bunch of shit. We have more reaction videos coming. I've been behind on that. We have so many. We only got the Marvels done because I just wanted to get that out, but we were gonna make one making fun of the Mother, Fool's Paradise, Talk to Me. There's the Continental Show, Sanctuary, the Regime, the Penguin. Like, there's a bunch of shit that we were gonna go over, and we just got kind of busy. But let's look at before we go, because it is about an hour in. I want to make these between an hour and 2 hours, somewhere in there. I don't want to make these super fucking long for you guys, because it just, I don't know, it just depends on how things go. But let's look at what games we're looking at, you know, for the rest of the year real fast. Obviously we have Redfall coming out, but that's just, I'm gonna hold back my criticism and just tell you guys what games are coming. But we got Redfall in May, Legend of Zelda as well in May 12th. The Bolt Gun game that's coming out May 23rd. I'll pick that up. That looked really fun. The Lord of the Rings Gollum, that looks terrible. System Shock is hitting PC. Then you get to June, Street Fighter 6, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 16. That's about it. I mean, Crime Boss Rockay City, which I think is going to do really bad. I don't think that's going to be successful at all. From the people I've heard played the beta and PC, it's a little lacking. July, like I said, Exoprimal, Immortals of Avium, and Pikmin 4. That's pretty much that month. August, Atlas Fallen. That actually looks pretty fun. I'm gonna be honest, I was skeptical by hearing, you know, what the company made before with the I forget what games did they do. I forgot what it was. I never picked it up. I think it was kind of like a Souls type of game. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre games coming out in August too. Ark Survival Evolved. I don't know what the fuck that is. Liza P is apparently coming out too. We have a couple things in August. Nothing crazy. Then September, RoboCop, Starfield, and I mean, apparently we're supposed to be getting Spider-Man 2 as well in September, so that would be cool. And it looks like a good spot to play Spider-Man. Now I heard people saying, you know, are they going to launch the same day as Starfield? And I'm like, they could, but I think they would, you know, rather do it like a couple weeks after Starfield, after people kind of digested that for a while, and then put it down here somewhere. I think that would work. Or I don't know. Whatever they really want to do. I think people will play both games. You know, someone's not going to be like, I'm not playing Spider-Man, I got Starfield. Like, I'm going to play both if they came out on the same day, you know? And then I'll probably end up finishing Spider-Man 2 because it's not going to be this big, long-winded RPG. I guess it hasn't changed too much. October, November, December is all pretty much the fucking same. I don't know what sword. A lot of shit with no announcements yet. So as soon as this shit starts going up, we could talk about the rest of the year. But we really ain't got. We got July, up to July, a little bit of August and September. Like, it's starting to fill up. You can see, like, these are bare. These are getting a little filled. So we'll see eventually. But yeah, that's about it for the show, guys. There isn't too much else to talk about. I never know how to end these things because they're just these long-winded podcasts. It's like, and now that I got done talking for an hour, bye. But no, if you guys like the content, if you like to see more of the podcast and the gaming news, the box office news, just smash a like, subscribe. You know, I really appreciate it. But anyway, peace.